Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, March 25th, 2024. And we're closing in on Easter, aren't we? And we also are closing in on some of the retired products that'll begin for sale. I think it's later next week. So today I have a fun card for you, especially if you like fun folds. We are going to make a Z Fold Easel Card, and it's an easy tutorial. It's one I hope you'll try, and we're going to get started. Now, today I am using Darling Details dies just to stamp a floral image and die cut that, and using some of the sentiments from that, but it's all about making the card. So I'm going to flip this camera down and we're going to get started. Okay, normally I don't show you the card ahead of time, but let me show you what we're going to use. We're going to start off with a piece of Night of Navy. It's 4 1/4 by 11, and we need to put 2 score lines in it. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in here, and we are going to, let me get this down so you can see it. We're going to score this at 2 3/4. So let's go on over here. And I want to make sure I have my scoring blade. So let's score at 2 3/4. And then we're going to score at 5 1/2. So let's push it all the way over here to the 5 1/2 mark and score this. Okay. That's all we needed that for. I wanted to show you the scoring. I hope you had a good weekend. I am excited to share this with you, though. So the first thing we're going to do here is we are going to fold on that 5 1/2 inch score line. We are going to fold into the valley. We're going to make a valley. And I want to go ahead and grab my bone folder, and we want to put a good crease into this. Okay. Now, where we scored at 2 3/4, we're going to fold it into a hill. And we're going to go ahead and burnish this and make a nice strong crease. Okay, so here's the base of our card. Now this card has a card in a card. So for this, I chose boho blue, and you'll see why in just a few minutes. This is 3 1/2 by 9 1/2, and it's scored at 4 3/4. Now for this card, this is going to go, and we're going to fold it into the hill. Make sure my edges meet nice and even here. And we're going to go ahead and burnish this. Okay. Now, this is going to get adhered right in the center of the back of this Z fold. The Night of Navy, you can see the Z. That's our Z fold. That's our main card base. Hi, Mary. Thanks for joining me. Now, this I'm calling our small card. Remember, this is the boho blue at 3 1/2 by 9 1/2, scored at 4 3/4. We want to adhere this onto the back portion of our Z fold. So I'm going to come on in here, and I am going to use my glue, and I'm going to put it all around. Whoops. All around the edge here. And then I'm going to center it so that we have a nice edge all the way around. So let's go with that. Okay, now here's the basis of our small card and our larger card. Okay, next I want to add my inside. Now the inside to this boho blue is basic white, and it's 3¼ by 7¼ and it's scored at 5. So let's go ahead and we are going to fold right on that score line, and we're going to fold it and make it a hill. Now this white cardstock is going to fit right in here, and the fold should come right above the Night and Navy fold line. And you're going to see why in just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and adhere that down. So I'm only going to adhere down this part. So let's go ahead and do that. And hopefully you can see pretty well. Mary says it's 60 degrees there. It is, it was about 60 here too today, Mary. It was a good day. All right, I'm being real careful to position that. I want a little bit of an edge at the top, but I also want to make sure this is free of that crease. It should be right above it. Okay, now that's good. So far, you're with me. All right, so next we want to go ahead and we are going to add, I'm going to add some glue to this back portion, but I only want to add it right around the edge here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But to adhere it, I'm going to bring my folded portion of the Night and Navy, I'm going to bring that up and just give it a good press. Okay, so far, there's our Z fold. All right, now we're ready to decorate the front here. So a couple ways you can do this. You can just use the cardstock and layer 1 or 2 layers on top of here. I wanted a little bit more pizzazz or decoration, so I chose to use a piece of the Countryside Inn Designer Series paper, and this is 4 by 5¼ and I'm going to adhere this right to the top of my boho blue card. So let's pull this down and let's add this right in here. Okay. Now I want to decorate this. So I have a piece of Night and Navy. This is 2¾ by 4¼ Don't worry about measurements because I do have a PDF resource for you with all these measurements. This card is part of the Stampin' Up! Demonstrators Fun Fold blog hop. That blog hop will go live tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So you'll be able to get that PDF and that then. So this, I'm going to cut this down just a little bit because it's a little bit bigger, and I'm going to tell you why. When I made this card, I made it by taking this and cutting it down. I used my deckled rectangles, and these are the 4th and 5th largest. And you can see that fits perfectly there to cut that. But you may not have the deckled rectangles. So I'm going to show you how to make it without, and then I will show you afterwards a card where I did do the deckled rectangles. So I'm going to cut this down just a little bit, and I'm going to cut this to, oh, let's say this is 2 3/4. I'm going to cut it down to 4. Let's try 4 1/8. It's 4 1/4 now. And let's see how that's going to fit. Okay. Let's take it down 1/8 more. We'll take it down to 4. Okay, that should work good. That looks good. Okay, so then on our white, our basic white is 2 1/2 by 4. So we're going to cut this down to 3 3/4. All right. So we now have these right here to work with. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side because we need to have a focal point for this card. So what I chose to do is I pulled in 2 colors from the designer series paper. I pulled in boho blue and night and navy. Now the boho blue I'm going to use to stamp a flower, and I'm going to use the night and navy to stamp the outline. So my boho blue is inked up, and I want it to be a lighter color, and I wasn't happy with it being stamped off. I didn't like it. So I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to move my ink over, and then I'm going to ink up my stamp. So I'm going to bring in, because this is a photopolymer, I'm going to bring in the base or the flat portion of the stamp. And I'm going to ink this flower up. That looks pretty good. Just give it a good press. And I love the way you have some of that distinctive stamping. Now let's close this up here. And we're going to do the outline in night and navy. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my night and navy on the outline for this flower. That looks pretty good. And we are going to go ahead and stamp this. Now this is a 2-step stamp, and I'm trying to make sure my head is out of the camera, and hopefully I'm stamping it okay. Isn't that pretty with those 2 colors? Now I did stamp it ahead of time, and I cut it out to save us some time. So we're going to use this on top of our card here. So we're going to add that here. Now I wanted to also have some leaves. So what I did is use the dies from the Darling Details, and there's some distinctive dies in here. And I used this little leaf here, and I used this one here, and I cut several stamps in soft sea foam. And the reason I chose the soft sea foam was it was pretty, what's the word? It didn't compete with my bright or the colors here. I really wanted it to just add to it, but not really compete with it. So we're going to go ahead and add this basic white layer here to our night and navy. And now I'm going to add my flower. Now to add the flower, I am going to pop it up with some dimensionals. So let's do that. Now on this card, I'm going to do something a little bit different with the greeting. And you're going to see that in just a minute. So let's pop this up. And I am popping it back enough, just a little bit, that I can get my leaves in there. And so that they aren't sticking out. So let's go ahead and take these off. Okay. And we're going to put this right, there's a piece of fuzz there. We're going to put this right in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some glue, but because these are so small, I am going to bring in my silicone mat. And I'm going to bring in my little glue gun with the fine tip. And we're going to go ahead and add some glue to the back of these stamps. And I'm just going to add a touch on the tips of the, okay, there we go. Just add a touch on the tips of those leaves. And then I'm going to use my little tweezers to bring this up. So let's add this in here. Whoops. Okay, and let's do another one. I'm going to bring this back over. I hope everybody had a good weekend and you had a chance to do something fun this weekend. So a little bit more glue than I want. So I'm going to just take and rub it off on my silicone mat. And let's go ahead and add another leaf right here. And pat that down. And we're going to add one more, and I think we're good then. So just a touch here and here. And let's add this one up at the top. Okay, let's move this off. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add this right here. Now, we could add a greeting here. I'm not going to at the moment for this, but I do want to show you what I did with it, with the other card. So let's go ahead and adhere this down. Now, you can use multi-purpose glue. You could use your tape runner or Stampin' Seal Plus. I tend to use my glue because it lets me slide things around and reposition if I need to. Okay, here's our Z Fold. Now, I do want to stamp a greeting in here, and this is going to be a birthday card. Hi, Lori. Thanks for joining, and you go ahead and serve dinner and watch the replay. Family comes first. So I'm using Sending You Smiles for Every Moment of Your Special Day. And this is from the Very Best Occasions stamp set. And I'm just going to ink that up, make sure my card is straight, and stamp that down. Okay, so there's our front. Now, how are we going to make the easel? Well, let me show you that. We are going to use a couple punches. Now, if you don't have the punches, use your dies. Just cut some squares or some rectangles and layer them. But I'm going to stamp my greeting that says Happy Birthday. And this is from the Darling Details stamp set. I'm going to stamp it in my Night of Navy. All right. And I do try to line everything up. All right, now I am going to bring in my oval punches. And I want to cut this white one out of the one that is just, see if I can straighten that out a little bit, out of the one that's just a smooth oval. So let's slide that over just a little bit more. I do much better with dies at times than I do the punch. Let's punch this out. There we go. Now, I want to punch this out of boho blue. So I'm going to take my boho blue and the scalloped oval, we're going to punch that out. All right, so let's adhere these together. Now I want to give my easel card, I want to give the a little bit more substance to hold it together. So I also have my, oh my gosh, my mind just blanked on the name of this punch. But we're going to use this one. And I'm going to move that out of here. And we're going to grab a small piece of Night and Navy that I have here. And we're going to punch this out. So let's, all right. Now that we've punched that out, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this right in the center. And you can see it just gives me a little bit more that's going to help to anchor my easel card. Now, there's some tips for anchoring this so you don't see it. So let's put this right here. All right. Now to anchor this, you can do a couple things. You can use Stampin' Dimensionals. I like to use the edge, you know, the framed edge of the Stampin' Dimensionals. That's one way to do it. I also really like using my strips, my adhesive strips. So to do this, I want, look at where you're at. This is the bottom and the back. You want to anchor this down right around here. You don't want it to be too high. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this off with my scissors I use for adhesive. And I'm going to add another layer right next to it, just to give it a little bit more substance. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take these strips off. There's one, and let's get the other one. All right. Now I want this to kind of sit on my easel, but I don't want it to show. I want it to pop out when we open the card and have it be a surprise. So I'm opening the top here of my small card, and I'm setting this right here so that it is right up above the edge of that boho layer. Then I have my Night and Navy card folded closed, and I'm just going to come over and close it on top. Okay, now when you open the card, you can't see it. But when you open the card to make it an easel, and this is a little bit crooked, let me straighten that out here. It must have moved when I closed the card. There we go. So now when you make your easel, you have the little flap to hold that easel card open. So let me see if I can bring that in for you. So here's our card, and we're going to add a few gems to this. And then stay with me. I want to show you the other one where I did use the rectangles, but I added an extra greeting. So I'm going to bring in my ombre matte decorative dots, and I'm going to use the Night and Navy. And let's bring this in here, and I'm going to take a large one, and I'm going to put it here, and another large one right up in here. And then I'm going to take a smaller one, and let's add that right here. All right. So when you send your card, it fits in a normal size envelope, the regular A2 envelopes, folds up, and when you open it up, here's your greeting. You have plenty of room to write a note. And then if you were to see this standing, it would look like this. Or standing up, whoops, I bumped it. It tucks right in here, and it will stand on a desktop or a mantle. So the second card is the exact same card, but here is where I used the deckled rectangles. So those pieces that we trim down a little bit will fit to cut those 2 deckled rectangles. So the exact same card with a little bit different look. Here I stamped my happy birthday up here. I added a second greeting. This is for a grandchild. Love you, miss you. And then sending you smiles for every moment of your special day. So different ways you can do it and play with it. So let me bring you back to me. I hope you enjoyed today's Z Fold Easel card. It is easy to make. It's quick to make, and it's just really very pretty on display. If you did enjoy today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up. Helps me grow my channel, and feel free to share the video. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you need a catalog or would like some help with anything, I would be honored to have the opportunity to earn your business. So I hope you have a great week. I will be back with you on Thursday at 7 p.m. Please stay safe and well. And I'm happy. Thanks, Denise and Mary. I'm glad you enjoyed the cards. Have a great evening, everybody, and I'll see you real soon.